Welcome to today's version of Festive Fun. Today we're going into some side planks and the variations that we can work with there. So these are absolutely brilliant for strengthening and toning through the sides of the waist, your oblique muscles down the side of the body, but they're also wonderful for building strength into the chest and into the shoulders. And they do become quite a nice challenging exercise to do without really having to go anywhere. But people do find that they aggravate certain niggles, so I just thought I'd talk you through some different variations that we can try. See how many you can get through and see how you feel. So the easiest version of our side plank is to be with our knees stacked and our feet stacked on our side. And this position is just going to be working gently into the chest and into the shoulders, helping through some wrist strength and helping you to balance. Now, some people find that by stacking their feet, their ankle bones are rubbing together. Perhaps once we start to progress this, they find that the feet are uncomfortable here. So you can modify this by taking your foot forwards, your top foot, just in front of the lower foot. So you've staggered them, so now they're both pressing onto the mat, a lot more comfortable. So we still have the knees stacked. The positioning of the hand is entirely up to you. So some people find that they prefer it closer in towards the body, others feel that that makes them a little bit more wobbly. It will also be determined by how comfortable your wrist is, and this isn't a natural position for us with our hand flexed, so it's going to feel unusual. Take it further away if you want to decrease the angle. Make sure that the fingers are spread and everything feels strong through the chest and the shoulders. Try not to collapse your shoulder in towards your ear. So we could hold this. It feels pretty easy, I'd imagine. Pretty manageable for most people. Now, to actually make it a proper side plank, we need to actually have part of our body off the floor. So what we'd like to try and do is get to a point that we can lift our hips off the floor. Now there's a lot of body resting down on the mat here, so to make that easier, we can come a little bit lower, so we've got less far to travel. Checking that the elbow is directly underneath the shoulder. We're still with our feet staggered onto the ground, but this time we're going to be putting weight through the knees, through the feet, through the forearm, and the hips are going to lift off the floor. So imagine that this upper arm has a piece of string attached to it, and that is pulling your hips. Feel that upwards lift of the hips off the ground. And there you have it, a nice and simple low plank. And you can lower at any time you want and come back down. So hopefully that feels manageable. If for whatever reason your elbow isn't feeling good, you can still try that version, but on the hand, test it out. The hips lift, the arm stretches up, and we're off the floor. Little variation. The other way that we can try is, if these feel good, is to step a leg out of the way. So we still have the bottom foot, if I bring it slightly forwards, you'll see it there. We still have the bottom foot pressing into the ground, and we can choose whether we're on our hand or on our forearm. I would suggest starting low. It gives you less distance to travel. You can see how you feel with it before you progress onto a straightened arm version. So, same principle, the hips are going to lift. We're pushing into just one knee this time because we've got the other leg straightened. So as you breathe out, feel that arm lift up, feel the hips lift up, and we are into our extended leg side plank. And then with control, we lower to the mat. We can test it out, perhaps with both feet. Same situation. Some people find that when the legs are stacked one on top of the other, that it's a bit uncomfortable for the feet and the ankles. So if you want, you can step your top foot very slightly forwards to make that a little bit more comfortable. Before we go anywhere, we're just checking in that the elbow is directly under the shoulder so that we're engaged through the side of the waist, through the front of the chest, and we are ready to lift. So prepare yourself with an inwards breath. Breathing out, feel the hips lift off the floor. Hold steady. Beautiful. Now you can, if you're still breathing here and holding here, use your screen as a little mirror. Where is your head in this? Some people find that they're craning their head up or flopping it down to the ground. See if you can keep your head and neck in line with your spine. Slowly lower the hips and relax the arm down. Beautiful. We've survived. Let's try it on the other side. So we start with both knees bent, both feet slightly staggered but stacked, and we start with our easiest version of our plank. So we're reaching the arm to the ceiling and the hips are lifting. And it's worth checking in on both sides. We don't fall down equally through our lives, so we might have more stiffness, more pain on one side than the other. So you might find that on one side you do an advanced manoeuvre, the other side you're a little bit more sort of standard. So just check in with the body. Don't assume that because you are flying on one side, the other side's going to be the same. Let's extend the top leg. Check that your lower foot and your lower knee are in contact with the mat. Check in with your shoulder and your elbow. And let's breathe out and lift. Beautiful. And down we come from here. Final position, both legs extending, still staggered. Checking that nothing's shifted and changed through our shoulder and our elbow. And then reaching all the way up, making that lovely long side plank. Listening to our head and our neck positioning, making sure that feels comfortable. And then slowly, with control, lowering to the mat. Beautiful. So there are many, many variations that we can add into our side plank once that feels more normal. And I look forward to showing them to you in class, forthcoming. Enjoy, stay safe, see you soon for more festive fun.